Welcome, Algebra 1 students. This is Chapter 4, an Introduction to Functions. In this video, I'm going to talk about using graphs to relate two quantities. So by the end of the video, you should be able to use graphs to visually represent a relationship between two variable quantities as they change. Okay, here we're given a rental car pricing graph. We're going to go ahead and analyze this. So on the left side, we have the cost, and then we have the miles driven. If you were to explain this to someone, you would probably want to say, well, on the left-hand side here, this represents our y-axis. It goes up and down. Okay, so this is our y. Oops, you can't see that with the yellow. And then on the bottom, we have the x-axis. All right, so this would be going left to right, and it represents the miles driven. Okay, if you were to explain this a little further to someone, you might want to tell them, well, what are the variables of the graph? Well, we already know that we had the cost and the miles driven. Well, what exactly does this all mean? What is the relationship that's going on between the variables at various points on the graph? If you notice over here, the graph kind of, it plateaus, right? Just kind of hangs out for a while. Right here, it's a little flat line, but it's above the zero. So that tells you that there's a cost for the rental car that's like a flat rate up until it starts to increase right here. So how would you put that in words? We can just simply say that the cost of the rental car is a flat rate until a certain number of miles have been driven. And then after that, you could just say, well, at that point, the cost increases as the number of miles increases. All right, here we're given a graph and asked to match the table that represents that graph. So we have the temperature and the time. And so the time is going to be your x, the temperature is going to be your y. So our job is to eliminate, hopefully, two of these pretty quickly. What I would do, and look at your times, so they're all the same. So they all start at 1, they all end at 7. So this very first dot here represents 1 p.m. The last dot represents 7 p.m. And in between you have 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. Okay. What we're looking for is that it starts out high and then it kind of goes down. Not a lot, maybe a couple degrees difference. So I would take each time frame and figure out the difference. So just to make this easier, I'm going to call this table A. This is going to be table B, and then this will be table C. All right, so let's look at table A. The difference between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. is -2 degrees. Table B, we have a difference of -4, and then table C is a -1. So far, I can already tell you B does not look like it matches because it doesn't look like -4 degrees difference, but let's just keep going to make sure. So let's go back to A and do time interval from, let's do 3 to 5, this section. Now it's going down quite a bit, so we want to find something that's going down quite a bit. So this is 3 to 5, 72 minus 62, it's a -10. 78 minus 79, if you look here, this is actually going up. So B is not possible. Okay, so we've eliminated B. Now we're just left with A or C. Let's look at the interval time 3 to 5. In C, this is going down 1 degree. Doesn't seem likely. Seems like it should be a lot more. And then let's look at 5 to 7 here. Another degree. So I'm going to say that this is not the answer simply because you notice that there's a big difference between the original starting point and the end point. So C is definitely not the answer. I would go with A in this case. We have quite the jump comparative to C. Here's another example for you to find the appropriate um, table that matches the graph. Go ahead and pause the video and see if you can figure out which table matches that graph, and then come back for the answer. Okay, so the same thing applies here. We have the same times, just different temperatures. So we have our time is X and our temperature is our Y. So our X's are the same. Okay, so the first dot represents 7 a.m. and then it's going to go up in increments of 2 hours. So this is going to be 9, this is going to be 11, and this will be 1 p.m. Oops, a little far on that one. Okay. So what we're looking for, and this is what I'm thinking, is we're just looking at between 7 and 9, it's going to go down. It's not going to go up this time. So let's see if we can find the table that starts out high and goes low. So let's say this is table A, this is B, and then this is C. So table A, we go from 29 to 32. That's a positive, so it cannot be that one. Table B goes from 29 to 25. It's a negative 4 degrees, so it could be this one. And then C goes from 29 to 30. That one goes up, so it's not C. It's quite clear that our table is B that matches that graph. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and have a wonderful day.